In just a couple of decades, we've come to depend on information technology. And though we may not know it, it touches almost every aspect of our lives.
Every day, most of us surf the internet. We might want to check our bank balance or do a spot of internet shopping. We could indeed just go to the bank and withdraw money from a hole in the wall. And we make phone calls too. We do all these activities without a second thought. But the fact is, none of these activities would happen were it not for the existence of huge data centres scattered across the country.
And this is one of them, Telstra in Cambridge, where much of our online information is housed.
This is very much where the internet lives. Every time you click on a website to access information on the internet, you're actually coming into a data centre. Eurostar, they host their reservation system here, and we also host the BBC iPlayer service. So customers, when they want to see their favourite programme, they come in here and so they can see the repeat.
But powering these servers doesn't come cheap. Research for BBC Look East reveals there are 19 data centres in the eastern region. They consume 162 megawatts of electricity. That's over 6 times the domestic consumption of a town the size of Ipswich.
High security is very important for data centres, so a lot of the London investment banks want to have their backup systems outside of London, and there are several of those in places like Hertfordshire. The electricity consumption for data centres all depends on the amount of processing power that's required. So the more processing power, the more electricity. A good example would be a Hertfordshire data centre that was recently built, which uses about 25 megawatts of power.
Already, these data centres consume about 3% of electricity in the UK. The government says by 2020, that's forecast to more than double, to over 6%. To put that in some type of context, the carbon emissions from these massive servers very soon will be greater than the carbon emissions from aviation.
Recently, protesters opposed to the expansion of Stansted Airport forced it to close. But when it comes to cutting carbon emissions, are we ignoring the impact of data centres at our peril?
We're actually on the site now, Richard.
Alex Arthur thinks so. Earlier this year, I met him at Sutton in Cambridgeshire, where he hopes to build one. The plan is to use waste energy from a neighbouring power station to reduce its impact.
We have to be socially responsible. We're reducing our clients' electricity bills by 27.5%. That's £1.5 billion of savings in 25 years. In this case, green makes economic sense. This must be a solution.
Back at Telstra, they buy electricity from renewable sources. Servers are becoming more energy efficient, but with many more data centres planned, it's clear our increasing reliance on IT has a growing environmental cost. Richard Daniel, BBC Look East.